Hi, everyone. Good morning. Pastor Sam here. And, well, maybe not morning when you're watching it, but it's good to be with you. I had a thought this morning I wanted to share, and it was this. It was the incarnation of Christ in Halloween candy. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, first of all, let me say I don't love Halloween. Halloween was last night. We did our trunk or treat. It was great. But I don't love Halloween. I mean, I loved it as a kid, of course, but I don't love scary movies. I don't love dressing up. I'm kind of grumpy when it comes to things like that. And so Halloween is always just sort of a meh holiday for me. And but what's interesting is we always try to do this trunk or treat at church as an outreach to our community. And it's so much lead up and build up, and it is a lot of work. And thank you to everyone who helped. But a thought hit me, and it hits me every year how important it is to do this. But I love the phrase that I thought of this morning as the incarnation of Christ in Halloween candy. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the incarnation of Christ is just it's a big word for basically just saying that God became man and dwelt among us. The incarnation of Christ is how Jesus came to earth, kept who he was essentially, and then ministered to people in the culture around him. And when we do trunk or treat or things like this, we invite people to come here to a safe place, to engage in the culture around us, and to love them like Jesus loves them, to welcome them in whatever they look like. And some kids come through with scary costumes, and I don't even like those. I'm kind of scared. But, when we do this, it connects with people. It gives families and people a safe place to come and trick or treat. It lets them know that we are actually for them, not against them, that we are, we want to be a safe place for them. And I was thinking about this with our church and what we try to do and outreach and service and all the things. And it reminded me of this quote from this book. A guy named Peter Scazzaro writes this book called The Emotionally Healthy Church. It's a good book. And he talks about how we love people in our communities, both in and out of our communities. And he says people who do this follow three dynamics of the incarnation of what we're talking about here. And they enter into other people's worlds. They hold on to themselves while entering into other people's worlds. And they hang between the two worlds. And in doing this, we make the incarnation of Christ our model for ministry. It can be really powerful when we do this. We know that Halloween's important. We know that the culture around us loves trick-or-treating and all these things. So what do? We enter into that by giving people a safe place to come, but we hold on to ourselves. We don't do a haunted house. We don't make things really scary. We make it sort of family-friendly. We make it open to everyone. And we offer Halloween candy and meals and prayer and all the things that make us who we are. And so what we do is we enter into the culture around us, we keep who we are, and we balance between those worlds. And in doing so, we actually model Christ, because this is what Christ did. Christ came to the world, lived in a culture that was different. He kept who he was and his mission, but balanced between these worlds through his mission and ministry and loving and serving others. And this is what we're trying to do. The Apostle Paul did the same thing. He entered into cultures, kept who he was, and ministered to people. And you and I, one of the things the scriptures tell us is that Christ is in us, right? That we get to show people Jesus. And what that means is we get to show people the incarnation of Jesus, that this was God who came to earth. And the reason we go out and love others is because this is how Christ showed us how to do it. So when we do something like trunk or treat, even though we may not love Halloween, even though it may seem simple, we're going to dress up, have fun, hand out candy. I didn't dress up. Full confession. But what we're doing is we're showing the world the incarnation of Christ. And when we go and serve at other places, or we serve at church, when we go and do these things, this is what we're doing. This is our goal. This is our mission. Is to enter into the culture around us, the world around us, to engage with culture by but also keeping who we are and bringing Christ to the world. And every year I'm so glad we do trunk or treat. So thank you to those who served. If you didn't, that's okay. I hope and pray you find a place to serve and bring who you are to the world around you. Thanks so much, and I hope to see everyone soon.